Aloha everyone. So I have a quick but important update today on the Maui short-term rental situation. Because last week, the county released 2 new resolutions that include lists of specific condo properties that are currently in apartment zoning, but could be rezoned so that they're allowed to continue operating as vacation rentals. So in this video, I'll show you exactly which buildings are in those resolutions. I'll explain why the county picked those particular ones, and I'll give you my honest take on it, because this is just the beginning of a much longer process. So real quick for context, when Bill 9 was passed, it created Ordinance 5909, which aims to phase out vacation rentals from apartment districts, the ones that are in A1 and A2 zonings. On the west side, the phase out begins in 2029, and for the rest of the county, it follows in 2031. Then came Bill 88, which created 2 new hotel zoning categories called H3 and H4. Think of Bill 88 like the county building a new lane. It's a legal pathway for certain apartment district condos that already operate like resorts to be moved over so that they can continue to operate like short-term rentals. But Bill 88 only built the lane. It didn't put a single property in it, and that's exactly what just changed last week. Last week, the county released its first 2 resolutions that actually start naming properties. And the way they sorted them tells you exactly why these particular buildings made the cut. The first resolution is 26-110, which added properties that are either timeshare or leaseholds. And the second resolution is 26-111, which added properties that already operate like hotels. So they have front desks, on-site staff, professional management, and the whole setup. Now, before I actually show you the list, here's the most important thing to understand about it. This is just the beginning. It's not the final word. And there's a couple reasons for that. First, these 2 resolutions are only the opening batch. I think that there's dozens of more condo complexes that could be added in future resolutions, and the committee can actually start adding properties as early as this Wednesday. And second, even for the buildings that are named in these resolutions, nothing is final yet. These are just referrals, which means the proposals still have to move through the Housing and Land Use Committee, then the full County Council, and then the Planning Commission before anything is locked in. Okay, so here's the list of all the properties that were identified in these first 2 resolutions, separated by location. First, let's take a look at the West Maui properties. In Kaanapali, the properties that made the list include Maui Eldorado and Kaanapali Royal. The Hana Kauai properties include Papakea, Maui Sands, Hale Mahina Beach Resort, Hale Onoloa, Kuleana, and Paki Maui. And then finally in Kahana, Kahana Outrigger also made the list for West Maui. Now moving down to South Maui, here's the list of properties in that area that were in the first 2 resolutions. In Waialea, we have Waialea Ikahi, Waialea Akolu, and the Palms at Waialea. And then in Kihei, Maui Sunset and Maui Hill were identified as properties for upzoning. And then finally, in Central Maui, in particular in Mā'alaea, there are 4 properties, and all 4 of these properties fall under Resolution 26-110 for being in the leasehold group. And those properties include Honokai, Lauloa, Ma'alaea Kai, and Milawai. Okay, like I said at the beginning, it's very important to understand that names can still be added or removed from these lists. This is just the start of the discussions. Okay, so I'll give you my honest take. I don't think these lists are complete. For starters, the ones that the county says operate like hotels already, I think that list should be a lot longer than it is. There are several properties out there that clearly run like hotels that I'd fully expect to see on it. And then separately, on the leasehold list, there's at least 1 property that is a leasehold apartment zone property that was not included. Kanainalu in Mā'alaea is a leasehold, and it is on the Minatoia list, but it wasn't in either resolution. I suppose it's possible that they left it off the list because it carries one of the longer leases on the island, running all the way through 2066. But to me, that shouldn't matter. I think that any leasehold property should be added to the rezoning recommendations. So that's one that I'd like to see on there as well, along with several others that clearly function like hotels. That being said, I'm curious to hear what you think. Which properties do you think should be included on the list of properties that should be rezoned that we did not see in these first two resolutions? Okay, to quickly recap, this is where things actually stand right now. Here's what we know. The Housing and Land Use Committee hearing is set for Wednesday, July 1st. And here's what we don't know, and there's still quite a bit. We don't have the complete list of properties. We don't know if there will be amendments along the way. We don't know exactly what documentation each complex will be asked to provide. We don't know whether there'll be application fees or other requirements. And we don't know what the final hearing schedule looks like once the Planning Commission gets involved. So there's still a lot of question marks here. But as always, I'll keep you posted as we get more information. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more updates. In the meantime, though, if you're curious to see which short-term rental properties are for sale on Maui that are already safe from the ban, regardless of what happens with this rezoning, I'll drop a link in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. And don't forget to hit the like button if you appreciate the timely updates, and share this video with anyone you know who might be affected by Maui's short-term rental ban. I'll see you on the next video. Aloha.